Looking at the sky like thank God that you're with me.
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. And you guys, if you rock with me every Monday, I thank you so much for being a part of my platform. But if you're new, come in and check us out. Check out Message Reveal and see what it's all about. But before we get started, you guys know how I do. I tell you a few things that's associated with our special guest. So let's get started. One, she's a cosplayer. We'll find out more about that. You know, this world is definitely new to me. Number two, let me get this right. She is award recipient of the Next Wave Award, and we'll definitely find out more about that. But last but definitely not least, she is the founder of the Black Gaming Society. So you guys, please put your hand together and welcome Miss Nyah Beck.
Awesome intro.
Glad you love it. How are you, young lady?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing fine. I just want to say thank you so much for coming onto my platform and allowing me and my audience and anybody else to learn from you and your perspective in this world of esports that I only knew a very little about, but connecting with my coworker, I have explored a lot of new things and new perspectives. So before we get started, just tell me just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, my general intro right now is, hi everyone, my name is Naya. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a current graduate student at Cal State Long Beach. I'm getting my master's in sports management. So I've just kind of been nosing the books with that, but I know it sounds a little weird given all of the gaming interest that I have. I hope to make it applicable to esports. And largely through my startup, which is the Black Gaming Society. And with that, uh, that's my main like company thing that I'm trying to get off the ground. That I started when I was an undergrad at UC Irvine. But our whole mission is to empower Black gamers and just really cultivate a community of individuals who want to pursue careers in the gaming and esports industry. So, just pretty much advancing everyone's hobbies into actual careers. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of been my thing right now.
well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about two things. One, what was the impetus for you to be the founder and start the
Mm,
program? And number
mhm.
two, really, if someone is new and want to be a part of your society, what do you offer?
Yeah, sure. So, um, really, I think the impetus is kind of like a big thing. But my whole life, I've been a gamer, and as a woman, as a person of color, this is not the most inclusive environment for someone like me, to be in. And so growing up, I've kind of just faced like a lot of hardships relating to that. And in particular, I play pretty competitively. Currently, I'm playing for Cal State Long Beach's Overwatch team, and I coach a lower ELO team. But personally, I've been ranked like top 500 in the North American region for Overwatch, playing Overwatch 2 and playing support. My favorite is Kiriko, which I know maybe sounds like gibberish, but if people know, they'll know. So, but I've always played at a very high level with many titles that I've played. Um, and with that has just come like a lot of adversity because people are like, you're a girl, like you shouldn't be that good, and the not good, so good things of like, go back to the kitchen or, things like that. And race wise, like there's also been a lot of things said to me. And especially when I got into university at UCI itself, um, I was seeking to like gain experience and knowledge so I could work in this kind of field, but it was very difficult for me to actually get those positions, despite being very qualified and very dedicated to wanting to work and building skills in that thing. But it was just a hyper like competitive environment, and ultimately like I didn't really want to leave the campus like not having done anything relating to gaming when the whole reason I went to UCI was to do gaming. Um and so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait for someone to like give me this opportunity. And again, like I've loved games and that's pretty much all I do. um since I was like 3 years old. So I was like there's no other interest. Like I'm not a sports person. I was into volleyball, but then when puberty happened, my growth spurt did not match the rest of the girls. So I stopped playing that like in middle school. But then yeah, like gaming has been everything. But ultimately I was just like, I don't want to leave this place and not or graduate and not have contributed to this community in one way or another. So I was like, I'm just gonna start my own thing and I'm not gonna wait for anybody to tell me what I can or can't do. And so
Yes, I love
I
it.
created a space. So yeah, and we've had a lot of fun and a lot of success. And I think just putting a lot of effort into like cultivating a community. And I think that's like not really the norm for a lot of esports organizations or things like that. Like it's a lot to do with competition and money at the end of the day. So it excludes a lot of people, especially if they're not like charting that norm pattern. So anyway, but um yeah, and people want to get involved. We have mostly our Instagram and our Discord server. But our Instagram handle is at bgxs.ebg. So BGXS Black Gaming Society and then Empower Black Gamers. But we have like a link tree there that has like everything. So the Discord link and it's just like all the other little social medias. But yeah, in the meantime, that's what I have, and I also do workshops with a nonprofit, pretty closely related to like my family. It's called Peace for Kids. It's primarily for foster youth, and like doing programming with them, but I do these like quarterly workshops. So I was just there for like the Christmas bash, or holiday bash, and this was like my second year doing like a gaming workshop. So I'll bring like my Switch. Other volunteers have brought their like PlayStations, and we just try to like connect with the kids, especially like the older kids who otherwise would be like on their phones the whole time. Um, we try to get them to play the game and do something a little bit more together and more like cultivating community. But um through my like company and through me and by myself, like I've earned a lot of scholarships and it's paved a lot of paths for me to be successful in school and so on. So I try to like inform not only the youth but their caregivers about like, you don't have to chastise gaming, but it can be like a pathway for them to be still be successful, like in the same way that you'd be like, go pick up that basketball, right? And things like that. So um
If I may just jump in.
yeah, yeah, please.
No, no, I want you to talk to the audience of I know what esports is, I know what gaming is, but
Okay.
someone that is very new and have no idea and they're tuning
Mhm.
in, they're like, what is she talking about? Can
Sure.
you explain what esports and what gaming is and how they merge with each other?
Sure. So, I pretty much define gaming as like playing uh content on a console, a PC, and in some cases a mobile device. So that's like on the rise. Everyone has a cell phone, so there's a lot of apps and things like that. But for the most part, games that are played on like PCs and consoles are typically the more competitive titles, and esports is essentially the amalgamation of like people who are the best of the best at playing Madden, which is like a football game, Valorant, Overwatch, which are like FPS based, first person shooter based games, um, and League of Legends, which is like a MOBA game. I don't know how to explain League, but that's a very popular title, and I haven't played it. But people who play these games, if they're like the best of the best, and essentially like um people compete against each other. So think of like a LeBron and a Kobe. Like there's these figures who are really good at playing this sport, but playing these games that people want to watch. And so teams, similarly to traditional sports, are formed and franchised, and they'll pay these players salaries, and host these competitions for upwards of like millions of dollars in prize pools. But they garner like a lot of attention, fans, and things that like replicate or emulate traditional sports. So like, if you think of, oh, I'm going to the Super Bowl to see the Chargers or whatever, like play. It's the same thing, but it uh might be Team Evil Geniuses, or Team Liquid, like who are, competing for the best of the best title. And as as a competitive player, that's really exciting because you get to see somebody who's really mastered the craft of playing a game. But even if you have no um relation to the game itself, or you don't play it, it's fun to watch people be very passionate and compete. And as humans, I'll say my undergrad degrees in anthropology, so sorry if a lot of it comes very like nerdy in that sense, but as humans, like we love competing and we love competition, and like community, and we do that for football, basketball. This is also just happens to be a video game. So I think like there's further subsections. So there's like the professional leagues, but then there's collegiate. So students can actually earn scholarships and play for their
Wait
schools.
a minute.
Like
Wait 1 minute.
yeah.
I am definitely the student today. You mean to tell me schools, universities
Mhm.
are supporting these individuals that can play gaming at a high level? They actually get scholarships to come and
Yes.
represent their schools?
Yes. Yeah.
When did this come about? How long has this been in play?
Yeah, so pretty recently, I guess now we're kind of aging, but I would say like 2017. So UC Irvine would happen to be the first public university to like formally have a program like this, and they launched in 2017. So I got involved with like collegiate esports stuff with them then, when I had like graduated high school early. And yeah, like again, their whole premise was that they were going to be supporting students to like gain the necessary skills to go work for these teams. And esports in itself is much larger than just who is playing at the behind the computer. Again, it's very similar to traditional sports in that there's teams and business people who market them, and have to run the operating costs. There's a lot of media people involved with the tournament running of the tournament. So just like your typical basketball game, there's people who are running cameras, streaming to Twitch, things like that. And on these college campuses, there's like a great like grounds to kind of gain those hands-on like technical skills to then like be successful in the industry. However, these things are also very transferable. So a college is like a really good environment, like you can explore and say esports and like streaming, but then what stops you from like, oh, I'm majoring in journalism, now I'm gonna go do that for like regular news or something like
Mm.
that, right? So it's not all about like, oh, like you just have to be the best of the best, but if I would say like really, if there's not limits to like what you can do, um in terms of like, I think just really it's the limit of your own creativity of like how you make something esports. But now, from 2017 and from UC Irvine itself, now there's hundreds of programs across the nation, and I've want to argue across the globe. I just saw a thing this week that Gen G, which is like a very um big uh, South Korean esports franchise or esports team. They just partnered with like the University of Hawaii to do like an actual esports like minor and
Wow.
work with the students. So it's like if the Lakers were like, "Hi, we're going to partner with like one school and like teach them how to be in the field, right? Or be in the sports field." So that's like a pretty big deal. And yeah, like they're in HBCUs and things like that too. So there's like a whole push and they're all over the place now. So, and even in high schools too. So it's not just college, they're going even lower um, down the ladder to get students engaged and I think just in tune with a lot of like the STEM and STEAM opportunities. But again, I also feel like there's really no limit to the amount of creativity that you can have with this field. So like again, I don't develop games. I don't desire to develop games, but I can still work in this industry and be successful. So yeah. Oh.
I really love how you were able to give us a display of multiple things, but not only that, that these skills are transferable for them to live their
Yeah.
life. Coordinator,
Yeah.
artist,
Yeah.
visual design. It's just multiple things. And we know if the universities are tapping into it, it's definitely something. So thank you for just giving us this wow, this world that again I'm slowly discovering. I had a young
Mhm.
man on, I think it was episode 28, and his
Mhm.
name is Julian Fitzgerald. And he talked,
Oh,
you
okay.
know who Julian is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He's like
Um,
the from Community Foundation. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And he was really great with giving us a background to that. You've been the first young lady that I've ever had in this. So I'm really just stoked to expose my audience to this world that we really had no idea about. Or we're like, okay, they can't make any money. They can't do this. And the
Mhm.
reality is, this is a whole nother world that's coming forward.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's amazing. So let's just turn the tables just a little for a minute, and we'll
Okay.
come back to um, esports. But let's talk about love. Have you ever been in a space where you forgot about love and love has brought you back? It could be a
Mm.
person, place, or thing. Have you?
Mhm. Mm. I feel like yeah, I feel like a lot of the esports and by even though I know you're supposed to go away from that. But like again, I feel like a lot of it um I'm growing up, this was not the cool thing to do. It wasn't big of popular as it is now, and not everybody's on Fortnite or whatever. Um, after school, like people were not doing that. So growing up I think I felt like a lot of like isolation from my peers and almost I kind of feel like I coined like I was a closet gamer in a sense, like I didn't really tell people that I did this even though it was the entirety of like my life outside of the classroom um and yeah, like I've dedicated so much time to it and um I think at times like I was met with like again that was waste of time and things that were just kind of like negative towards me. I'll say from my mom and my dad, they've always fully supported it. But like say some cousins or things like that, they might, or aunties, they were like, why are you letting her do that? Like, that's a waste of time. Like, she'll never go to college if she is just wasting time, like playing this game, right? And they're like, no, but like, this is what she likes. So, you know, we're just gonna support her. And she knows like she has to bring home A's. And if she wants to be up till 5, 6, 7 in the morning, she still got to go to class at 8. So, um,
So you're
I
saying you learned to maneuver that?
yeah, yes, yeah. I think even to this day sometimes. So, but um, yeah, I feel like in just those instances, like love was not always there. And again, from my family, yes, but in terms of like the outside world, not so much. But again, through finding or starting the Black Gaming Society, that was really how I was able to kind of like reclaim that space. And reclaim like now it is kind of the cool thing to do, and all the cool kids are doing it. It took a lot of time, but you know, I think kind of then I had like this realization in my junior year that I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna care. Like, this is who I am. This is again the whole reason I came here, and I'm just gonna fully embrace it. And part of the language of why our mission, I say our mission, is to empower Black gamers, is to really like shed all of like what maybe you shouldn't be, or you're not this, you're to that. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, I'm a gamer, I'm Black, and I'm gonna do this. Like, and that's
I
like a reclamation of um yeah, of just showing love, I guess, to yourself, but then also being present and being able to like hopefully attract others who feel the same. So that's kind of my
I
like
love
hope.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. I have to clap that up because one thing you said that was
Hmm.
very important, that you have to love yourself and to shed
Hmm.
all those things. We're all going to encompass individuals that say, oh, you shouldn't do this, or you're too young for this, or you're too old
Yeah.
for that. We do not allow that to stop us. That is
Yeah.
just it should fuel us to say, you know what, I'm going to continue being me. And I
Yeah.
love that you are offering that home or society to those that may come across and have to
Hmm.
deal with that kind of attitude, or people don't know. When they don't know, sometimes they give that energy of you should do it another way.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
thank you, I love that you shared that with us about love. So let's just talk about one of my favorite things is music. Music
Yeah.
has turned me all the way out in a great way.
Yeah.
So can you identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or provided lessons? But
Mm.
before you answer, there's some rules to this.
Okay. I didn't see the rules. Hang on,
I
hang on.
know that I only tell.
Oh.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out. I see your
Okay.
face.
Yeah.
If you can rap, I need you to come hard in the paint. Like, do it like you know how to do it. But, but, if you cannot do either one, you have to say it with passion. You have to say it like we say in the streets, 10 toes down. I need to be able to feel what you're talking about. So I'll go back
Okay.
to my original question. Blessing, distraction, or lessons? Can you identify a song that provided one of those?
Okay. So I cannot sing, nor can I rap unless maybe it's Nikki or Megan. I'm gonna actually say Megan, sorry. But uh I actually had wrote down, so my husband, he doesn't know he's my husband, but I know, so that's all that matters. The Weekend, he is
Oh,
everything to me. So I had actually just wrote down his whole album of Kissland. Like, that's my favorite album of all time. That
okay.
kind of to me represents that whole story arc of he talks about distractions, he talks about love, and he also talks about like life's blessings, even though my mom's always like, he's so sad, he's so sad. But I'm
Oh,
like, no, he also is like speaking real things though, like from the heart, which I think is also just like his full, yes, he talks about a lot of vices he has, but I also think it's his way that he channels like getting to the heart of like what life is and what are its blessings, which, come through. So anyway,
so do you have a song that you can give us some lyrics about?
ooh,
If you don't, it is okay. It is
It was really
okay.
the whole album because I can't ever pick one like my favorite. And I thought about it, but I was like, I really like it's really that whole album for me. Like I even when I explained it to my family last night, I was like, I first learned or heard of it when my mom played it for me um when I was like 11 or 12 when it first came out. And I was kind of like, I don't know what this is, like or whatever. And I'll say the song that she really loved was Belong to the World from that album.
Oh,
And it's Ooh, girl, I know that I need you. To deceive you, but you belong to the world or whatever. So anyway, I'm not the weekend, so I'm probably not doing it justice, but or I'm not doing it justice, not probably I'm not.
it is
But
from your perspective. So you did
yeah.
an excellent job.
Okay, thank you. But that song, like, I had really liked it then because I was like, oh, like this girl must not like be, something that like someone that he can be with or like call his wife, whatever. And I'll say as the years progressed, like when I was 15, 16, that's when I really listened to the whole album and I was like, oh my God, like he's really speaking something. Like, and then I was like, this is gonna be my jam. And I just remember like playing it on repeat all the time. And today at 25, almost 26, I still feel like um I when I listen to it sometimes I hear like new and different things and just in different phases of my life have I felt like some songs I've gravitated more towards because I'm like, oh, this is explaining like a different situation that I'm in or people that I've encountered or feelings that I might have like uh they've kind of evolved and adapted as I've gotten older. So that's like one piece or like one album at least that I like just adore. And even that same song, like it's evolved to like, my own relationships or, like sometimes how I feel like, okay, I just belong to the world. Like I can't really be claimed or chained
There
down to
you
something.
go. Yes.
And so like, boys or whoever, like they can't keep up with me sometimes just because like I'm like on this own mission and like, sometimes that's sad, but sometimes that's happy because like I'm just maybe driven by my own purpose. So that's why you can't like domesticate me because that's part of the words the lyrics that he sings, but so yeah, I think that's how I would kind of break that down. So I had said Kissland the whole album, but I'll narrow it down to Belong to the World by the weekend. So
Wonderful. Yes,
yeah.
yes. I love that. I love that. I love that you kind of move by your own beat. And like you
Hmm.
said, you can't chain me down. Like I'm
Hmm.
here to explore what the world has to offer. And if someone wants to come and explore with you, you're
Yeah,
open to it,
this
correct?
the seat is open, yes,
But
but
they're not going to pull you back and say, no, you
no,
can't do that.
no, 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 no.
That
Absolutely not.
part,
Sorry.
that
Yeah.
part. I give you a hand for that.
Oh, thank
So
you.
let's talk about, I'm very curious about it. I know what it is, but let's talk about it from a perspective where my guests have no idea about cosplay.
Okay.
You're a
Yeah.
cosplayer. Just give us a little bit about it and then tell me some of your favorite cosplayers that you like to embody.
Ooh, okay. So cosplay in itself is like a subculture of gaming. So people just dress up as characters from their favorite games. So I kind of explain it to people who don't know as like Halloween, but any day of the year. So you know how it's fun to like dress up as somebody spooky and scary from your favorite movie or cartoon. Um, it's the same, but people usually do it around their favorite games or anime, etc. And I feel like you could really do it anywhere. Last night, there was like an anime and gaming like nerd party, where people come dressed as cosplay, but we're at the club. So, I feel like now it's kind of like opening up new waves. Typically it was like at conventions or cons. So like Comic-Con or my first con that I cosplayed at was BlizzCon, which was like Blizzard Entertainment's con. So the developer of Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, like these major games, they have like um a convention to celebrate like all of them. But a lot of people would dress up as the characters for those games. Um, but you can see them like at different esports tournaments. There's like a lot of overlap for like who and where people will dress up. And yeah, it's just like cool. And my favorite character is to cosplay as Kiriko from Overwatch, just because that is my character. So that I play in the game. But I
Describe
think
how she looks for someone that don't know who she is.
okay, sure. So, she's pretty much, um, she's this Japanese girl. She's kind of like has this ninja aesthetic. She has like kunai and these like healing papers, and she's tied in the game. She's tied to like this fox spirit. Her family like tends to this like temple, in Japan. Also, I love Japanese culture, so that is apart from gaming, that's like the other thing that I love. I'm trying to get back into actually learning Japanese, but that's an aside. But yeah, so her family like tends to this temple, but ultimately like the fox spirit is like who becomes like her family guardian, and in the game like that's how she's healing people, and also how she's attacking people is the fox has claws. So uh, like that justifies that logic. And then yeah, like her whole thing is kind of that, but she was like in primarily white and red. She has blue hair. When she's channeling this spirit, her hair and her eyes like glow blue, like a teal color. And then she wears like a kimono, like almost like a traditional kimono. And I don't recall like the actual type because it's not like a geisha kind of thing. It's more like the ones that they would wear like for attending like the temple and stuff like that. So
Mm,
just more like modest, and obviously it's a little bit like modern because it's still a game that they're trying to market and target to everybody. So like she has some streetwear elements like in her outfits. Again, she's primarily or she's literally Japanese. But to me that street element is like something that I like to hype into because streetwear and black culture is like kind of one of the same. So
absolutely.
I like to amplify that. So when I've worn her, I have the kimono and all that stuff, but I like she has like these red sneakers that I do red Jordans with.
Go
And
ahead, girl.
yeah, and then my mom's like a big sneakerhead, so she has like these perfect shoes that are like red with like a big white like squiggly on the bottom, and it's like you can't really get any closer to the shoe like in real life and the game. Like, so I love wearing those. They're also very comfy because being at a con, you're on your feet for like, I've taken pictures of people for like 14 hours of the day, like from
You
8
what?
a.m. to 3 a.m. So, like,
Wow, this has a
sometimes,
mass
yeah,
following.
it's huge. Yeah. And my other thing is, she has like blue hair, and they usually sell this like, I don't want to say ratty, but it's not a cute wig. Like, I really am like, girl, I can't have that on my head. I'm not really a wig person in general, but I'm like, I don't really like that. So I actually got braids, like these really big, like plaits, and I got it with like the blue color that matches perfectly, I
Oh,
think. And I do, she has like a big, like, she has like a ponytail and she has like a little bow in it, but I made a braid bun. And I was
go
like,
ahead.
so I was really proud of that. But to me, so at BlizzCon, I'll say like I did that stuff, and people were like, "Oh, like your hair's cute or whatever, whatever." And like my shoes were cute, like oh they match. But to me, it was like if you're black, you're really gonna know like this attention to detail. And, like in general, sometimes black cosplayers also get discrimination because like there's also kind of gatekeeping and things like that in that community as well. Of like, unless you are racially that character, like you should not cosplay that character. But
Really?
yes, so I think you mentioned like other cosplayers that I follow. I follow a lot of other Black cosplayers. One of my favorite is Cutie Pie Sensei, who just cosplays like anything. There's also another that I think is more related to this topic I'm kind of going into, but she's Black Princess Peach. So she's Princess Peach, but she does brown hair and then she's black. So she's Princess Peach, Black Princess Peach. And she looks gorgeous, and she has
Oh,
like a very like detailed, like accurate costume, but she gets a lot of like um backlash and a lot of things because people are like, Peach is supposed to have blonde hair and blue eyes and whatever skin, right? But she's like, I love this character, and like, and for a lot of us, especially Super Mario characters, um, even probably people who have no affinity to this whole world, right? I'm sure you probably locked in Yoshi once when you were like 3 or 4, and Yoshi was your character in every Mario game since, and it's like that's how it is for some people, like Luigi or whatever. Say maybe not say him, but like whoever that Waluigi or now I really like Daisy. I was a Yoshi person, but now I actually really like Daisy, and I've been playing a lot of her in Smash and Mario Kart and stuff. So it's like people have these affinities to these characters, and so like they should be able to represent, like dress up as them and just celebrate their love for that character. So yeah, but to me, like I like to do the way I approach cosplay is like I want to approach it my way, but being able to blend both the cultures together because yeah, like again, I'm a Black person and I'm gonna cosplay. And I do want to mention I went to DreamCon over this summer, which is ran by RDC Live, who are like the or RDC World, sorry, who they're like skit YouTubers, but they did a lot of like merging of Black culture into
mm.
the anime and gaming space and like celebrating that, like a group of boys who did that. So I watched them, but now they're kind of like big. So they have this major con in Texas, and um it's not necessarily like just an anime or just a gaming con. And they claim it as like if anybody has a dream, you come to DreamCon. But it's
Ooh.
largely, yeah, but it's largely for Black and African American individuals to come together and just kind of like be themselves. And that was like ultra like liberating experience for me. So I'm going next year already, got my ticket. I'm trying to get everything else together back in Texas. I'm in California right now. So I'm in LA. So I'm trying to, figure that out. I figured it out last year, so I'm hoping I can do it again. But I went as Kiriko to that con. I'll say nobody really plays Overwatch like that anymore. So there was literally like 5 other cosplayers, and there's over like 10,000 people at this con. So, and I only saw like 5 other people who were cosplaying as other characters from Overwatch, but I was the only Kiriko. But people kept stopping me because they saw my braids and they saw my
Oh,
Jordans. And so
oh,
it was just like received differently at the Black Con versus like the regular, well, I would say
yeah.
regular, but like BlizzCon. So yeah, I was just like, that was like really like it just warmed my heart and just felt like I was being seen. I don't want to make it be an emotional thing, but it was like just very like validating. um and yeah, it's
So
like a
did
really awesome experience.
so it gave you the energy or to uplift you to say, I will continue to go on, whether I'm at just the major con or all
Yeah.
black con. I'm going to continue to be myself, regardless if someone say, "Oh, you're not that color," or "She doesn't." You're
Yes.
redefining, excuse me, redefining who she is. Correct?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And to me, it's like I kind of don't want to be known as like the Black Kiriko, but I also am open to embracing that because, like, I again am just like I'm like her, and in general too, like there's a lot of things like I find similar to like Overwatch in itself. Um, love that game. There's all about like heroes changing the world and like believing in what they believe in and like fighting um for peace or fighting for justice. Like
I
all
love
the
it.
characters have really like awesome lore-wise stories. Um, and I don't know, her like background with like her family and stuff too. And the things that like she's fighting and like trying to protect, which is like her home. And the fox spirit like preserve this like ancient kind of thing, I think just speaks to me. And like, yeah, I just want to like be able to be an extension of like representing that very similarly. And like um one of the like main characters that a lot of people play, one of her like uh spawning lines, I guess, when you like first enter the game, they all kind of have these catchphrases. um but one of the healers, she says never stop fighting for like what you believe in, and
Mm.
stuff like that. And so I don't know, those to me it's like these are like mantras that I always hear. Like, I play the game a lot, yes, maybe too much sometimes, but at the same time, like, I actually feel like there's been a lot of talk about like Marvel Rivals, which is like a new title that just released like a couple weeks ago. um I and that kind of taking over like and killing Overwatch essentially. But that Overwatch to me is like there's so much more to it than just the balance or just the competitive scene for the thing. Like, it's deeper than that, and
It
I
sounds
think
like it
that's what people
has.
gravitate towards more than like just the gameplay itself. So
And it sounds like it has some themes for life, like to
yes,
encourage you
yes,
in life. And we definitely want to support anything that moves us further in life. And
yeah,
it sounds like
yeah,
that's what that's all about.
yeah, yeah.
With that being said, let's talk about music again.
Okay. Yeah.
So, can you identify a song that you were able to purchase all on your own? Your first thing that you purchased, whether you had some money for Christmas or you did some
Mhm.
work, whatever, but you purchased it without anybody influence. You're like, ooh, 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 I love that song. This is what I want. Can you identify a song?
Yes. So I kind of have a funny story to this. Again, this is an album, but I'll say I think it's like encapsulates the time that we were in. Um, I think I maybe was like 9 or 10. Um, maybe. Uh, I know my brother was born, so it had to have been around then. And for like, I'll preface first too that my dad's a musician and my mom loves music. So my name's Nyah, but that comes from Nyah Bingy. She's very into like Rastafarianism, so she loves reggae, loves Bob Marley, things like that.
Oh,
So my whole house, I've grown up around music, and loving it, and or whatever, like just listening to it, and all kinds, like not just reggae or just hip hop or electronic music that my dad made. Like, she loved all that. So I'll say like because of that and because of this story, um a lot of the music that I consume, especially younger, came through them and like what they wanted to listen to. And if that was a Perfect Circle or if that was Wu-Tang Clan, like it was that. If it was, again, Damian Marley, somebody, like, it was all of those things. So like all the time. But I for me it was like just the typical like High School Musical or Jonas Brothers or whatever. And I was like, maybe those count, but I was like, I didn't buy those, but it was like I was into those, so they got me those albums. And one thing that when I turned 8 or 9, I invited like my best friend to my birthday party or whatever. She was like, my mom wants to get you like a gift, like whatever, whatever. So what do you want? And at the time, it's gonna sound crazy.
no, nothing. This is from your
Okay.
perspective.
At the time, Bad Romance and Paparazzi by Lady Gaga were cut, like she was coming out, right? She would Just Dance, all of that. She was breaking through the scene, right? And so she was everywhere on the news, or not the news, on the radio, and like just kind of breaking into this mainstream thing. And my mom was like, I don't know who the hell that is, but I'm turning her off. But I was like, I kind of like her music or whatever. And I
Your
kind of
mother
like her
sound like
songs.
me.
Yeah. And she was like, who is this? Who is this? Or whatever. And so I was like, I like it her and like Beyonce, like she was like, mm-mm, or whatever. So anytime they came on, she was like, mm-mm, I'm turning that off. And I was like, oh no, or whatever. But my best friend had asked what I wanted, and I was like, I want the Lady Gaga CD, The Fame. And so my best friend came and she got the CD for me. And my mom was like, who is that? What is this? Or whatever. And like, what are you, who got you this? Or whatever. And then I was like, oh my God, like whatever. I tried to like just play it off like, maybe it's a mistake or something. But I totally took it upstairs to my room and like the
Oh,
whole thing. And obviously now that is like an incredibly iconic, like late 2000s, early 2010s album. And it's Lady Gaga, like, and I mean, yeah, I'm not like a monster or anything like that, but
give me
to
some
me, it's like
lyrics.
very iconic.
Give me some lyrics of just one of the songs off of the album that you can think of that pops in your
Okay,
mind.
sure. I think my favorite song from there is So Happy I Could Die. I do really like that one, even though it wasn't like one of her main stream songs. Um, to me, it just so a lot of like music sometimes just like invoke this feeling, or
Mhm.
like I would say maybe even kind of like similar to the cosplay, like you kind of embody like what the artist is kind of singing about, or the theme that they're on. But that song, to me it just seems like very like glamorous and like kind of like old Hollywood in a way. um
And the
and
name of the song again?
so Happy I Can Die, I think that's what it's called. Oh wait, let
Okay.
me let me look real quick. um But to me, that one, like, she's talking about like obviously being happy, so she can die or like die in that moment. But I think she's also like doing some other stuff too that maybe also is like countering that, in a
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like it's also very like to me like very bouncy and like airy. So
Mm-hmm.
like even if she is talking about something just like the weekend, like if she's talking about something like dark and scary. Um, Oh yeah, it is So Happy I Could Die. It's talking about something dark or scary, like you can't really know because it sounds like very ethereal and like um just kind of like the complete opposite of that. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um yeah, but yeah, I would say even though it wasn't like one of her mainstream singles, I really happened to like that one. And yeah, I think I saw like one of my favorite like drag queens. She just did a number to that song, and I was like it was really cool because she was just like she was doing everything I thought. Like she was kind of like walking on the stage and just like being glamorous with like this giant like thing, and was like whatever, like being like this elegant like woman. And so I was like, oh my God, like, and I love drag like for that reason, because I'm like the things I do in my room by myself, I'm like that I sometimes think I should just do drag because I be doing my own performance sometimes in my
Well,
room. Yeah, and to me, I'm like that for me is like really healing and like meditative. Like I almost feel like it's that to me more than just like listening to music. Um, like just on itself, like I like to dance, I like to move my body, but I don't really do that like outside of my room. But
well, maybe this will be
sometimes
the next step.
yeah, maybe. Who knows? But I definitely love drag because a lot of the time they do like obviously Gaga and like things like that. But um yeah, they just can embody these songs in a way and then like add glitter,
Mm-hmm.
glam, things like that. That just I'm just like, wow. So yeah. But I saw that the other day. And it's an old song, and again, like it wasn't one of her mainstream things. So I was like, oh my God, like somebody else really likes that song. And then it happened to be like my favorite drag queen. So yeah.
Well, that's good. Thank you so much for sharing that
Yeah.
song and that story behind it. If your parents watching, be like,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh,
her best
yes.
friend that
Yeah.
purchased that CD for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just dig in. At the beginning, when I mentioned who you are and some bullet points about you, I
Mhm.
talked about the Next Wave Award.
Oh yeah.
Can you just give us a little bit of how or what the Next Wave Award is about?
Yeah, sure. So I was just awarded that from Sports Business Ventures, which is like a platform in the sports industry where they're kind of growing a network to support students or even current sports professionals network and also find like resources to either change their team, change their position, like just kind of that. It's like LinkedIn, but like hyper I almost I guess like yeah like hyper LinkedIn um like platform for sports professionals. And so as a sports management student, I don't know how I came across the platform because one of the main ones that people refer to is Teamwork Online. They're kind of like, probably the Meta or the LinkedIn, right, of those or of this like kind of platform. There's thousands upon thousands of people in that. But Sports Business Ventures is a little bit smaller. I think just newer, but I appreciate it because I'm able to more directly connect with these people. And yeah, and so the Next Wave Award was really just to recognize people in sports who are making waves, as in like kind of shaping the industry in a new and better way, and like who are going to be the emerging talent who uh, will hope just bring change to the industry and make
Yeah.
an impact and be super successful, hopefully. But so uh like the class of other people. Some of them work for the NBA currently and like do marketing, um,
Wow.
things like that. I know one girl, she was working on her college and doing like more engaging projects with like trying to engage like the fan base to people for people to attend the college games like on her campus. And all the students are from all over. Like it's not just California. I don't think I met a single other person from a California school so far. Um, but yeah, then there's me, and I think for me, and even in my cohort itself, my cohort's kind of large. I have like 60 students in my
Wow.
classes at Cal State Long Beach, so it's a massive class, which is like kind of has its pros and cons. But like out of all of those people, I'm the only person that is like, I'm into esports and I'm into gaming, and this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm not gonna be a coach. I'm not trying to be a GM of the Dodgers. Like, I'm gonna do something in esports. Like I maybe I'll be GM of Evil Geniuses, but or you know what I mean. But like I'm in terms of like football, basketball, like it I don't want to say it makes no difference to me, but like, because I also don't want to shut off other real job opportunities. But you know what I
But
mean?
no,
Like,
your
I'm
focus
not, yeah,
is
like my focus is definitely on the esports stuff, and that's just the only person in my whole cohort that's doing that,
wow.
and so, um, however, there's like a major push right now for the intersection and for the, like cross like collaboration for the traditional sports and esports because and I don't want to get too nerdy, but there's a lot of like talk and discussion and I don't want to declare panic, but to me as an outsider of like K through 12 and even some collegiate spaces, there's a mass like decline in students and the value of like degrees, education, things like that. So administrators are like panicking to like reinstate this value, right? Because we need to
Mm.
make money and get
Okay, talk to me. Talk
students
to me.
butts in seats, right, to attend even their K through 12 classes. So the solution in some cases it's not like a blanket thing yet, but a lot of schools are seeking esports because kids are engaged. Everyone has one of these. I guess this is the iPad, but it's giant. But everyone has a phone. A lot of people have computers or like are only even in less fortunate circumstances like they're only a couple degrees away from these things, right? And so like our work has transformed to this modality. Look at us right now. Our personal lives also have probably transformed into this modality, as in I'm
Yes.
going to post on IG and all my friends are going to see it, right? Um, so like people are, oh, I think again, like the schools are just like, how do we get people to get into this or get back into these seats and pay for degrees again, things like that. And so there's like a massive push for esports to kind of be at the forefront of these initiatives, low key, I think. So, um, this is all like I just speculate and think about and nerd out about on my own. But I feel
No,
like that's
no,
like a
no.
very push,
I,
like
I love
big push
this.
that people are doing. So yeah, but
No, I love
um
that you're giving us
yeah,
this perspective because these are things
yeah,
that we need to know because whoever's
yeah,
tapping in, whether it's for them, it can be for the child next door, it can be for their
yeah,
um, grandchild, it can be for a
mhm,
friend to have a
yeah,
well rounded perspective of what's available. We should
yeah,
always have options. And what you're
yes,
talking about is options that it sounds like the people have the majority right now. And now on the other end, they're like, okay, how do we get the people back in to
yeah,
support this system?
yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. So esports is kind of at that cutting edge. And so what I'm kind of doing, and especially I think trying to amplify and market towards Black and brown youth, young professionals, etc. That's like, again, also at the cutting edge, because to me, I'm like, we can invest these millions of dollars into these programs and into these arenas and into these like renovating classrooms to make them esports labs, right, and put PCs in them. But if you only do that at like certain schools in certain neighborhoods, that's we're not going to repeat history. Like I am
That's right.
so, I have to be loud. I'm like, girl, we're not going to get left behind.
That's
So
right. That's right.
I'm like,
That's right.
in one way or another, like I want to be like, again, it was brand new for me and my family, and like, not to brag or whatever, but I feel like I came from a big place of privilege, and that I could ask my mom for a $3,000 PC, right, or whatever, and like not want for
Yeah,
these
that's a big place.
consoles to play, right,
That's
these games.
privilege.
So yeah, yeah, yeah,
$3,000.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like, and play these things and dedicate the 16 plus hours a day to playing the game and getting good at it, right? um and like other kids are that aren't like, don't look like me and aren't the same like background as me, they get that and more, and
Mm,
they're the ones who go to like the real big leagues, literally. And so to me, like, through my organization, I would like to kind of be at the nexus of like changing that, essentially. And if it not be like, it might not necessarily be like, oh, I have my own team, but if I can like usher in like a thing and be like, come on, kid, like you're going up there too, and I'm gonna give you the resources. Like, to me, it like, it just goes back to kind of like serving the like inner child. Because sometimes I'll say like, yes, now I have this nice fancy PC, but I did buy it myself. Um, I would get like gaming laptops for a long time, and to me, when I was like most critically at like 13, 14 years old, an $800, $900 laptop, like that was a lot for my mom to even invest. Right. But to me, it was also like, at the time, like looking back, it's really like a retrospective thing, but like looking back, I was trying to compete in the NBA with
mm.
like flip flops and jeans, right? Even though it
Wow.
was like a good computer, right, in a sense, it wasn't like, it was, and I could be a good player like playing on that. It wasn't necessarily the correct tools or the correct resources to like actually get me to be like among people, again, like these other people who have the actual Jordans and jerseys, right? So
Mm.
I kind of like use that analogy to more so explain like that kind of circumstance, because yeah, and like my case, it's probably not the, or it's not the norm, and it's, and even then, like, it was the best that my mom could do, and like, again, not taking away anything from her, but because I also didn't know, and we didn't know like the capacity, there's like people would randomly call her like from Europe and be like, hi, can your daughter come compete in this tournament? And she was like,
Mhm.
who is this grown man trying to get you to go to Europe? What are you talking about? Bye.
Yes.
And hang up, right? And then I was like, I don't know. Because I didn't know how to explain it to her. I was like, I play with these people online, and yeah, my friends are French and from Belgium and
So
whatever.
can
Like,
I just pause for a second?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my understanding is you were at an elite level and didn't know it, and whoever
Mm,
saw you in, say, Europe, France, they're like,
yeah.
hey, I want her to be a part of my team, let me reach
Yes.
out. And your mom is like, wait a minute, who the heck
Who is
is
that?
this?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I
and
was 12.
and you had no idea that this was
Yeah.
even an option. And they're
Mm-mm.
recruiting you just like they would recruit an NBA player because it makes their team a little bit bigger, correct?
Better. Yeah. Yeah.
And better. So,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
Yes. So that was like my intro to like sport. That happened when I was literally 12. And playing this game called Guild Wars, to MMO. So it's a little or radically different to than Overwatch, but very similar to like World of Warcraft, which I referenced before, but it's kind of like their competitor. Uh, but it's nowhere near as big now. So but yeah, like those people would called my mom when I got really good at that game and their PvP. She was like, I don't know who this is. And I was like, I do have friends there, but I don't want to go. Like, I don't know what that means or whatever, right? And there was no UCI at that time. There was no anything. So we didn't like it was just not on our radar. And like again, I don't want to get caught up in like what could have been or whatever, but it's like I think mostly to those instances, right? And those are things that like I wish with my organization, like I could kind of step in and be like, hey, let's actually consider this or look at this.
Yeah.
Or you need a PC and you don't want to just do trackpad. Like I was playing on trackpad and I was high rated, but playing on it's like uh, honestly, like in competitiveness, it's hard to explain, like unless you do it. But like mouse and keyboard is kind of like the elite, and controller it can do like good enough. But people like when I tell them I'm a gamer, they're always like, "Oh, are you good on the controller?" No, I'm actually awful on the controller because
Really?
I do mouse and keyboard. But
Okay.
it's I don't know necessarily like how to best. I guess the closest thing to it, maybe I'm just coming with it on the spot, but like maybe driving like a manual versus like an automatic car.
Mm.
Automatic, I would probably say is like a mouse and keyboard. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's very intuitive and
Mm-hmm.
like it's just that. And you can get like you're just boom boom like
Fast. Yeah.
change your things and it's in that. But
Yes.
the stick thing or whatever, like I don't even know how to do that, but like I don't know how to do controller either. Like that takes a lot more like I don't want to say precision, but it just takes like different effort. And you could still be very good at driving those things, but let's say like unless an automatic is fairly easy, but like if you either person were to switch cars, like they would might struggle like trying to drive, and God forbid like you're in the manual because then you blow out the engine or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
about cars, but
Oh, the
like
clutch.
it's yeah, like you would make a problem. So I think like that's like the best way to kind of explain it. And there's other things too, like there's trackpads and things like that too, which is like the stuff you see on the laptops.
Mm-hmm.
But like you kind of scrolling your finger, like that's not the same either
Mm.
again as these mice that we're paying like hundreds of dollars for, right? And it's a mouse. Like
Wow.
those things have like all these lasers and all this curated weight so it can do whatever, like be light on your hand so you can be more like the most accurate you can be, especially in like uh first person shooter games where like every second, every inch, um every millisecond like counts. So and can be a difference between a victory and a defeat, like kind of
So,
thing. So and
so what you're saying to me, your tools to support your skills matter.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to
Yeah.
have the best tools. However, you can start
Yeah.
wherever, but as you move
Yeah.
up, knowing to have the best of the best will assist you to be successful in the
Hmm.
play of the
Yeah.
games. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
wonderful.
yeah.
Well, I do have one more question before
Yeah.
we get out of here.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you had the opportunity to give a song to the world, to dedicate a song to the world based off of parts of you or all of you, what song would you provide to the world?
mm, okay. I was stuck between two. I'm so sorry. I'm not a good list curator. I've had different answers
Fine.
for each thing, but these are these two songs, not two albums. Um, but one was "We Made It" by her.
Okay.
And that song, I discovered it like right before I graduated. Might made me emotional, but I love. So I think it's like such a beautiful song. And I think I would totally dedicate that like to the world because if you've not listened to it, like she's talking about like working long nights and like oh sorry, like hard and like it kind of not being recognized by like her family or friend or people who just like maybe not family friends but like people who just like go against her like but then she comes out with the Grammy and now she can like uh support her family and things like that. That was like my anthem for my like graduation and I was like that is just such a beautiful song and then she's incredibly talented. Like she's playing every instrument you can think of on that track, girl.
Yes.
So like it is just a phenomenal song and I just love it. And to me it goes back to like that whole like I just call it like butterfly like ethereal, like
Mm,
floating kind of song. So it just makes
mm.
me feel good. And it's like, I don't know, something about it. I don't know much about like frequencies or vibrations, but I feel like something about it just like makes me like feel very like energized.
It's a high
So
frequency.
yeah. I feel like it totally like aligns with that. Like even though I'm not so experienced with those things, even though I want to be, those song like that song for sure kind of just like strums like a good thing that like just feels good. So that was my one song. It's probably that one I'll mostly dedicate, but I also just wanted to mention Cranes in the Sky because I also love that song for like a lot of the same reason by
Oh,
Solange. And yeah, when I was at UCI and like in this background, by the way, is from my campus or from the campus. So in undergrad, I'd be like walking to class, right? And then but I would hear these songs like and sometimes in my professors they would play like music. I don't know why, but like a lot of my best professors played music
because
before their class.
that's how it should be.
Yeah. And so they were playing, but I that's how I discovered both these songs. And well, I
Wow.
loved the Cranes in the Sky before that, and I loved her like before that, but then yeah, like sometimes we'd be like early in the morning, like 8, 9 a.m. and like, getting to class, you might be stressed, like, oh my God, like I'm late, I didn't get breakfast, whatever, and then I got this lecture and that lecture, whatever. Um, life, like they would play the music and be like, settle in, everyone, whatever. But it was just like such a good vibe, like, and it just, yeah, just really like lifted my spirit. So,
Yes.
I think
Can you
those two. Oh yes, yes.
can you
Sing
give, yes, just a
it.
little bit, or if
Okay,
not, just give me some lyrics.
sure. So, from We Made It, it's all those nights burning down, 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 looking at the sky like thank God that you're with me, me. But yeah, that was We Made It.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. And then Cranes in the Sky. Give us a little bit of
Oh,
that.
sure. Okay. Cranes in the Sky. I'm like, hang on, in my her moment. Um, I just know that and then I don't want to date those little guys. Whatever or whatever. It's like cranes in the sky. I don't want to think those little guys. Like the piano. Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that. You did a because that song is so Solange. Like that
Yes.
song is not easily mimicked.
Yeah, no, it's
You
really not.
But it's so beautiful and it makes you
Yeah.
think. I love that she makes you think about, are you doing these things because of this?
Yes, yeah.
And did you see the video, how artistic it
Yes.
was?
Yes, yes. Yeah, so that was how like our professor like on the I think he would do Spotify, but it like did clips and I was like, I'm just gonna go what he actually also told me about a podcast or yeah, he told me about a podcast that broke down the song with her. And so I listened to it and it was like magical because she was talking about how like she was writing her process to writing it and like actually like the sounds and some of the sounds came from like kids' toys and then she was
Wow.
like doing it or whatever and it was like that's the sound or whatever like it was really cool but I was like wow like I remember like typing to him this was in Zoom University so I was like oh my god like I love this song like this is so cool and then he's like you really like it here's this podcast like that talks about the process of making it and I was like oh my god this is so cool but yeah like
Oh,
it was just really neat to like see it kind of come together and then I was like oh my gosh and then the video too, like, yeah, just it was really
oh,
nice.
I
So,
love your selections. Those
oh,
two
thank you.
are absolutely amazing. And you have mentioned, you were the first to mention her and Solange on my
Oh,
podcast.
really?
So,
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
Yes.
Yay.
Well,
Cool.
I just want to tell you before we get out of here, if someone taps into this a year from now
Mhm.
or 6 months from now or even next week and say, I want to do what she's doing. I want to be a
Yeah.
part of her society. Can you
Mm.
provide some social media handles? I know you did something
Oh
at the
yeah.
beginning, and any other place that anyone can connect with you.
Yeah, sure. So, if you want to get involved with like the Black Game Society and the stuff that we're doing, you can follow us. Most of our handles are the same; they should be. At BGXS, BGXS, so Black Game Society, dot EBG, Empower Black Gamers. So BGXS dot EBG. That's our Instagram, I believe our Twitter, and or it should be our Twitter. And I think something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. We have a link tree. I would just say go to the Instagram, and I do have that there because that's the main platform I post on. But it's also where you can find our Discord, where you can join. I didn't really talk about Discord much, but that's like one of the primary platforms that gamers use to like communicate, largely when they play games and stuff. So it's a great place to like kind of gather community and things like that. So we have one, and people play games in it and stuff. So yeah, and we're hoping to do that more in the coming year, more like scheduled kind of things, not just like, hey, are you on kind of thing. So, but yeah. And then I guess to follow me, my Instagram is Nyah B. So my name, Nyah, B as in Beck. So that's my Instagram handle. But a lot of the Black Game Society stuff, like they're both like co-authored by me and stuff. So if you find one, you'll probably find the other. And yeah, I guess LinkedIn is the other thing. Really trying to grow that. And that is just Nyah Beck as well, my name. And yeah, I'm pretty sure if you put like Black Game Society, hopefully I come up. So yeah. And yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty much it.
I love it. I love
Oh,
one.
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
I was also gonna say I stream and stuff too. So if you ever want to watch me play,
Yes,
so,
give them the information. You can't
yes,
forget that.
yeah. So that my gamer tag is Bingy-san. So I do have an Instagram, but my Twitch is that. So Bingy as in Binghi san San. Bingy-san. That's my like gamer tag. So that's also my Discord tag and my but primarily my Twitch. So if you ever want to see me play with my team at Cal State Long Beach or even just a regular day of whatever I feel like playing, you can tune in there. So yes, I'm so sorry.
time. We want to get all that information out.
Yeah.
We'll also, everything that she mentioned, we'll also put it down in the description
Oh yeah.
box. So that way they can just take it with them. In addition to
Yeah.
that, I just love the fact that one, you were transparent. Number two, you talk about it's no boundaries, and we want
Mm,
our children, not just our children, anybody to realize that you are the one that creates your reality. And
mm,
if it's something that you desire, even if other people are not on board, you
mm,
have the ability to do you. And I just want to give a big up to you because you were in the energy where it was not popular, it was not the mainstream, and because you stayed consistent, you are where you are now. And now, because of your society, you get the opportunity to help other people or guide them and kind of, get them prepared for this next level of esport gaming. So I'm
yeah.
just so proud of you,
Oh,
girl.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes. And
you.
before we get out of here, we talk about on this platform the journey and the destination. The
Mhm.
journey is where you learn and where you grow. The destination is where you celebrate. Sometimes we work, 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 and we forget to celebrate. We must celebrate. So when we celebrate, we get a chance to look at all the things that we done. But the key to it all is to get back into that journey so we can continue to learn, and then the next time we'll celebrate again. With that being
Yeah.
said, when my men are on, I salute them. When my women, I bow. So I bow to you, beautiful lady.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just so in awe. Keep doing what you're doing. You're changing the world in so many ways. I hope maybe 3 years you look back and go, wow, I did something by exposing, by sharing, by being transparent.
Mhm.
Um, One last thing, my guests that come on, I always give them the last word. Is there anything else you would like to share or say?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I was not prepared for that, but I think I think you said a lot of the same sentiments, and I guess my like leading thing just like yeah, just I'm gonna quote RuPaul, Miss RuPaul, and say because I love RuPaul, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Wait, that's a pause moment. I have individual cues that you can't see. I need you to say that again.
Okay. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
You guys, please put your hands together and thank my beautiful special guest, Nyah Beck.
Thank you
You
so much.
Thank you. And as I say to all my guests, I'm from Las Vegas, a native of Las Vegas, and I tell all my guests, I'll see you out here in these Las Vegas streets.
Yeah, you will. Soon.
Thank you.
Bye.